Welcome in to another episode of Betting the Pitch. I am your host, the real underscore G Warner, and I am putting my phone on Do Not Disturb because I am a professional. If you're listening on Twitter, if you're at the real underscore G Warner, thank you so much. I guess you could be watching there too. Sorry for my appearance, but it is what it is. There's nothing more we can do. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That'd be awesome. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a 5-star review and I will read one on this podcast, and it could be yours sooner rather than later. Happy to shout out handles or whoever. I'll take a 5-star. I'll trade you whatever you want. I am going to go. There's still no Bundesliga in Germany because they, I guess, have the longest Christmas break possible. Everyone else has returned, even missed Liga playing midweek, which was very disappointing because I follow that league probably closer than most. And I feel like an idiot. But if you're tuning in this podcast, listening, watching, wherever you are, and you notice I'm missing something, it's probably not intentional. And it's probably because I didn't think to look, even though I feel like I knew. There's so many leagues that never end up on the same odds sheet. Also, if you have an odds program that I could use so I don't keep it all myself, that would be great too. Hit me up, the real underscore G Warner. I will shout everyone out if that's what you're looking for, because I need some help. There's way too much going on. And that's why we're recording at 11:03 Central Time on Thursday, January 12th. Welcome in. This is great. We're going to have fun. We're going to find a best bet from each of the leagues, an ultimate best bet end of show. Like I said, I'll read a 5-star review. And all lines quoted on this podcast are courtesy of betonline.ag. It's my favorite place to get my bets down early. Reduced juice is offered almost every game you want to bet, right up until game time. I would be careful. Sometimes I take lines down like 1 minute before. It's happened to me. I've missed some winners, some losers probably too. But you remember the winners, of course. So be a little bit careful right up until game time. Might be like 5 minutes before, just to save yourself some time. I should probably listen to my own advice. I don't, but please follow the link found in the podcast description to fund your account and use the promo code GW50 to receive a 50% match bonus up to $1,000. So you have a bunch of extra money in your account, and let's go to the Premier League, where you find the most money in the world for soccer players. Just finished Fulham and Chelsea. I feel like I don't want to toot my own horn, but this has been a good week so far. And João Felix red cards are absolutely hilarious. You can take the player out of Atletico Madrid, but you cannot take the Atletico Madrid out of the player, even though he didn't want to beat it the whole time. So Friday matches, we have some in the Premier League. Aston Villa, a half a goal favorite to Leeds. Over under is 2 3/4, juice to the under right now. This is a tough spot for me because, as anyone who listens to this knows, I like underdogs and I like unders. Leeds are a terrible team for unders, and I think they're a scary underdog because, unfortunately, if you're bad at totals for unders, you're probably conceding goals or scoring goals. I don't know that I trust Leeds to score enough of them. I don't think Aston Villa are in great shape going out of the FA Cup last week against a team I don't even know, never heard of before, Stevenage, I believe. Not great. But it sounds like they didn't play their best players, still embarrassing, all that sort of stuff. I think in this one, this is a no play for me, really, because I don't really have anything to go off of with good old Leeds not being really trustworthy to keep the ball out of the back of their net. I like the American setup, but I'm not paid to like things. I'm paid by winning bets. So I'm going to move straight to Saturday and a pretty big Manchester derby. We have Manchester United hosting Manchester City. I guess that was obvious when I said the derby thing. But Manchester United are a half a goal underdog, even money right now. All the juice on Man City. Over under is 2 3/4. And I like Manchester United. It's weird. I've not been in this camp for a while, unless they're just a huge underdog. I guess I've lost betting Manchester United in this matchup. I think in the FA Cup, I want to say, probably in regular play as well. And so it's kind of surprising to see Manchester United only a half a goal underdog, though they're at home and they're the biggest club in the world besides Barcelona, who's currently taking checks from Saudi Arabia right now. But it's weird for me to say I like Manchester United, but I got to say, Erik ten Hag, as much as we all talked about him in the beginning, probably me, because I'm by myself in this podcast, It's very possible that that was me talking. It was, but I'm really impressed by what's happened. The ability of Marcus Rashford was never doubted ever on this podcast anywhere, but he's seemingly just put it together. Manchester City, meanwhile, have really struggled. Scoring goals is a problem for him. Erling Haaland is obviously incredible, and I never want to bet against him again, but ultimately it's kind of him getting on crosses from Kevin De Bruyne, who hasn't been that efficient lately. A lot of questions there. Of course, going on the road, they've had good success at Old Trafford, but Manchester United, I feel like their fans are back in. I think they still want the club sold, but if they keep winning, maybe they don't. You still probably see a lot of those green and yellow scarves out there, but I'm not even jump in the politics of that. In terms of over under, I do feel like this could be a high scoring match, which unfortunately does not correlate very well to an underdog. Usually you want an underdog and a goalless match to hit under and underdog. I do think home dogs are like the sweet nectar of life for me right now. And so you might see me leaning that way for a lot of them. I don't think this is going to get to +1, which would be the ultimate insurance goal. That'd be really weird if it did. It'd probably be a bad sign if that happened, if the market completely turned against Manchester United at home like that. Don't see that happening. So you really got to decide, do you think Manchester United can win this match? If you do, then taking that half of a goal or potentially the 3/4 of a goal that it climbs to is worth it. For now, I'm not sure I feel that strongly, but I do lean to Manchester United. Next, we have Brighton, Liverpool. Brighton currently a quarter goal underdog at home. Over under is 3. And then just like Brighton at home gets a lot of respect. Graham Potter's not there anymore, everyone. Roberto De Zerbi is not a good manager, does not have a good record of winning matches. Like, I'm sorry. I can't get down with the Brighton numbers. The market loves them. It seems like they always do. It was working at the beginning of this year. This feels like a little bit betting on where they sit in the table. The Liverpool, I think, have overcome them. I don't know that I necessarily trust Liverpool or believe in them completely, but they have a lot more talent. They're likely to score a lot more goals. I don't think the Amex is that intimidating of a venue. Certainly will help Brighton at home. But I'm not sure I feel like Liverpool or an auto fade or a team that I really want to go against right now, especially not at a short number like this with an over-under of 3. That tells me the market thinks there are goals coming, and that's not a good sign for an underdog, as I just said. Wolves then host West Ham. Currently, Wolves a pick'em with most of the juice right now after crashing out in penalty kicks and having a little bit of a kerfuffle after the match. I don't think there were any suspensions. Who knows? But I really like what Julian Lopetegui has done. He was great to me at Sevilla. Things got really bad for him, the club, everyone. It wasn't really his fault this season, I don't think. I guess he's the manager, so it's ultimately his fault. But when you're left with a team that's completely falling apart based on finances or just bad investment, that's not really him. As for this match, over under is 2.25. West Ham are a team I'm looking to bet against. It's as simple as that. They somehow got a draw from Leeds, but and score 2 goals. I feel like that feels to me like the goals that they're going to score for the month. And it was against Leeds, so another team that you don't really want to deal with for unders. So West Ham need to prove it, and they haven't done that. And I don't think that they will before this match starts on Saturday morning, because I don't think they're playing between now and then, obviously. But I don't know really. I think if there's anything I'm going for in this matchup, it's the under 2.25. It's pretty juiced right now. I guess this could fall to 2. I don't know that I've seen an over under 2 in a Premier League match in a long time, / I don't think at all this season. And I got to say, Wolves, I feel like they're going to take it to West Ham. I think Wolves are more likely to score goals, so I like that side clearly. But I don't know that there's a lot of goals in this matchup. I think both these teams are going to cancel each other out. They're both fighting relegation, even though I think Wolves were more on the trajectory to fight it. West Ham killing it in Europe, made it to Europe last season, and they've had a huge fall from grace, but it's been profitable for your boy. So I appreciate that. Thank you, David Moyes. Doesn't sound like he's getting sacked anytime soon, but you might want to think about it, especially if they go to Wolves and lose. Nottingham Forest then hosts Leicester, currently a pick'em. Both played in the Cup midweek. Nottingham Forest, I believe, moved on because they got through Wolves in a penalty shootout. Leicester lost at Newcastle, which was a pretty big mismatch, and Newcastle's awesome, so it makes sense. Over under is 2.5 in this one, and I don't know that. I mean, that's probably the strongest lean I have is to under in that one, but the Nottingham Forest goal scoring is getting a little bit better lately. I still don't trust it. The Leicester goal scoring has been really I think, disappointing. The year started for Leicester. They couldn't defend anything, and they got really hot right into the World Cup, and then they have not picked up where they left off, similar to a lot of teams who lost momentum going into that break. Jamie Vardy is a bench player now and comes on for 15 minutes just to blow chances, it seems. Leicester have a lot of problems, I got to say, and that makes me like the under, but unfortunately their bad defense doesn't help that. Lean under, but not that strong. Everton hosts Southampton. Speaking of teams that are just awful, it's amazing the divide in some of these big leagues, but I guess that's how it goes and how poorly managed some of these teams are. A lot of charlatans in the director of sport offices or sporting director offices, it seems. Everton, a quarter goal favorite, over under is 2.25. It's pretty low, but where do goals come from in this one? Everton are so bad offensively, defensively, everything, but Southampton may be worse, and they're on the road, and they're going to be fighting a really big Everton crowd. I think both these fan bases know that they need all the support they can to survive. I guess by default, going against Everton makes sense to me. Southampton, I don't think I can back on the road. Basically saying these two teams are equal with only a quarter of a goal and choose directly split. It's like begging you just take a position to say which team's better, because I don't think anybody knows in this market. I do like under 2.25 because I just don't think there are goal scorers in this matchup. There might be 2 own goals or maybe 3 that would put it over. 2 own goals and a penalty is probably how it gets there based on how some of my unders lose. But I don't know that there's anyone I trust to score in this game, and that's pretty good when you need 3 to lose and over under. Next we'll go Brentford and Bournemouth. The nightcap on Saturday, Brentford, a 3/4 goal favorite with all the juice right now, likely potentially climb into full 1 goal. Over under is 2.5. And Brentford, I've not been doing great with unders. I've been backing usually them as an underdog and under, and unfortunately splitting or winning $5 or something like that. Not really what I'm in the business for or the game to do. But I guess it's better than losing or going 0-2, but still disappointing because I feel like Brentford have been scoring way more than you'd expect. Not a good sign for Bournemouth, who are so bad with corner kicks, like leading the league, like making Leicester look like they can actually capably defend. The zonal marking has not worked. Crystal Palace got 2 goals from it off corner set pieces in the first half. Like embarrassing, like level, like championship is the next level down. So like League 2 stuff. Just not really good enough. And I don't know how I can back them or an under now based on all that sort of stuff, especially because Brentford are known for these analytics movements, their high XG that comes from set pieces, which are low XG. They find a really good way to arbitrage. Maybe it's because they have a gambler as an owner, but unfortunately we have to learn these things, and or else we don't do this, or we keep paying casinos to build new offices or roulette tables. So my only ways to play this one are Bournemouth as a 1 goal underdog if it gets there, but I don't want it. So under 2.5 is all that really stands. And I got to say, I think I got to take a cue that Brentford are scoring a bunch of goals now. I don't think that Bournemouth really have. I mean, they could get shut out. I mean, I don't think that's a real path to goals for them. They're going to sit back and try to counter. I think that fits the under mentality, and maybe we're reaching a point where Brentford goal scoring is overrated or overpriced. 2.5 seems like a big total in this one, so that's why I lean under. Moving to Sunday, Chelsea with a really tough performance today. I hope that Graham Potter sticks around, but like win 1 of your last 9 or something like that could be curtains for the guy that everyone loves so much at Brighton. Chelsea a 3/4 goal favorite to Crystal Palace right now. Over under is 2.5. Chelsea, where are they going to score a goal? That's a big question. They got one off of a set piece today. Kind of a sneaky little thing from Mason Mount. The red card from Joao Felix really diminishes and hurts that offense, which didn't have enough people to lose at that position. They could have lost 5 right wing backs, but certainly not a central attacking midfielder. That's a tough situation. The nice part is they get Crystal Palace on the road, who have been horrible. Like the road splits, home road splits for Crystal Palace are immense. They've done a little bit better with those lately because they've been so bad at home too. I mean, they're not doing well. I don't think Crystal Palace are a team I want to back. It's 2 teams that are really going the wrong direction. One's a pretty big favorite, but they also have a huge budget. And Crystal Palace, I don't know. I mean, if this hit +1, maybe I'm a little bit more interested in Crystal Palace. Always lean to under in Chelsea matches, especially Crystal Palace's matches on the road. That's probably the way I lean strongest. It's an underdog and unders podcast. I know people have said that, but unsurprisingly, here we go. I hope you like the commentary otherwise and the mentions of Saudi Arabia and oil blood money. Next, Newcastle and Fulham. Newcastle a 1 goal favorite, with all the juice right now on the home team. Over under is 2.75. And I really want to back Fulham, but I don't love that they're running into Newcastle, who are on fire. As this number climbs based on the juice right now from 1 to 1.25, then I'm more interested in Fulham for sure. Until that happens, I mean, I still love plus money on a full goal of insurance right now. And also believe under 2.75 is a way to look, though Fulham still want to play on the front foot and really go and attack you. I don't know that I want a team that's going for it while Newcastle are also trying to win to maintain their place in the Champions League race. So I don't know if I actually like under in this one. So there we go. Unders and underdog podcast. I think I like the under here more than I like the total. Excuse me. I like the underdog here more than I like the total. I might have just said that. It's late. Give me a break. But there we are. Tottenham and Arsenal, North London derby. I think the first one of the season because the other one got canceled either because of the Queen dying or some stupid reason. Anyway, that's a really stupid reason. Sorry for all my English people and the royalists out there that somehow exist. I met one at Oktoberfest this year, and I'm still shocked. But anyway, Tottenham a quarter goal underdog at home. Over under is 2.75. Pretty big slap in the face because usually this match is like pick 'em juiced to the home team each way. And they're getting a quarter of a goal from Arsenal. Arsenal leading the table, top of the table, crushing everybody, except for Newcastle. I mean, it's deserved. I really want to be against Tottenham as much as I can until they either stop playing the way they do, which they won't under Antonio Conte. So we got at least the rest of the season for me to do that, most likely, or until the market adjusts and starts treating them a la here as an underdog at home to Arsenal. I don't know that there's a lot I want to do here. I think the home crowd does matter here. But I do like the counterattacking style against Arsenal. Arsenal is going to push up the field trying to win 3 points. And that's going to leave themselves exposed, and you win half a bet with a draw. But I'm just not really inspired to do anything with Tottenham at this point in the season. Do a little bit different. I'm actually taking notes so I don't have to go back through all these again to figure out who my best bet from each country is. But from England and the English Premier League, for this episode, betting the pitch 158, I'm going to go with the Wolves under 2.25 as my best bet. And I'm going to write that down. So end of show, I can push them all together from the top leagues that we're doing here, and then give ultimate best bet and get out of here a little bit quicker because it's super late. So from the Premier League, we're now moving to Spain. We have a Friday match, Celta de Vigo hosting Villarreal. Celta a pick'em right now. All the juice on Villarreal on the road. Over under is 2.25. Villarreal, awesome return to play. Picked up just where they left off. Just kidding. I mean, Quique Setien, who came in for like a match or two, was rumored to get already the heave-ho. Clearly, they're gonna have a huge downgrade from Unai Emery leaving, but Gerard Moreno coming back is huge. They have to keep him healthy. I don't think they can do it because he seems like he's made of glass. But with him on that pitch, they are an offense. Without him, they are nothing. And that's a big problem. I mean, Danjuma was doing really well filling in for him. But that's not seemingly what Quique Setien is interested in doing. And of course, when he has Gerard Moreno fit, that is the key to their offense. Celta de Vigo are nowhere near the offense they used to be. They've always had defensive problems. I don't like them as a home underdog unless I think they can win this match. I think they, of course, could do that, but I don't really feel confident enough to bet that. And with Celta's offense and defensive woes, I don't really know which way to go with totals either. So kind of a stay away from me on Friday. Sorry for anybody that's really looking for La Liga play on Friday, but I'm sure we'll have plenty this weekend. Moving to Saturday, Valladolid hosts Rayo Vallecano. Real Valladolid, a pick'em, a little bit more juice on Rayo, the road team. Over under is 2.25. And Real Valladolid, I mean, I feel like they're getting relegated. I don't want that to happen. I feel like they're the team I've probably done best on in my soccer betting career, which has lasted since COVID, besides, I guess, World Cup and other international tournaments. But regarding the league plays, Valladolid have probably been the best team to me. I think maybe other than Union Berlin, which if they ever play a match again, it'd be great. Hopefully next weekend the Bundesliga returns, but I have to look that up. It's so far off the radar. Anyway, Valladolid, they give up late goals late in matches. It kills 89 minutes of effort, and they blow it at the end all the time. And it's really disappointing, especially as a bettor, but makes me feel like Ronaldo's team is going back down. Rayo Vallecano are a counterattacking side that have these little tiny guys in the wing that cause big problems. Valladolid's defense will struggle with that. When Elia Meek is one of your best defenders, and we saw what he did in the World Cup, just completely getting toasted for the goal that broke the Moroccan camel's back, unfortunately. I don't really love that matchup, but there's not really a play for me there at Pick'em anyway from the side. I just don't think there are a lot of goals that will come in this match. 2.25. I mean, there are big mistakes that happen. That's how goals are scored a lot in this sport. But there can also be big mistakes that are not punished. And I don't know that either of these teams want the ball. So we're just going to like have a stalemate here. So under 2.25, I like a lot. Girona then hosts Sevilla. Currently, Girona a quarter goal favorite, which is almost shocking. But based on where Sevilla sit in the table, how poorly they've been playing, finally got a win over a Getafe. But ultimately, they are in big trouble, and their team sucks. And that's pretty much it. They did start buying some players because they're like, whoa, we're in the relegation zone. The Segunda División is not where we belong. Nunca se rindes, pero I don't really know what to say about it because I'm looking to bet against Sevilla, but I feel like the market hates them now. It just took 12, 17 matches, however long. I think we're in Jornada 17, so 16 matches for that to happen. Girona, on the other hand, I don't really know where goals come from them. They're one of the newly promoted. They don't have a lot of offense, but I feel like they play well at home, as most should. Don't really like them as a home favorite, I got to say, but I'm not back in Sevilla. No, I can't do that yet. I think the strongest lean for me is under 2.5. It's very juiced right now. That's pretty high total for two teams that don't really have a great route to goals. Forever selling Rafa Mir in a Sevilla shirt. He needs to go back to Huesca, and where he was great, honestly. Osasuna then hosts Mallorca. Currently, Osasuna a half a goal favorite with all the juice on Mallorca. And I have no idea where this number comes from. Like, wow, Osasuna being favored at this level. Like, I need to check my numbers, but I think I actually have them up in the background, so I can. Yeah, I thought Mallorca would be pick 'em here. What are we doing? Did Marici get suspended, or is the whole Mallorca team not showing up? Is everyone like, did Javier Aguirre get fired and I missed it? That is going to be really tough for me to avoid. Like winning a full bet on a draw at Osasuna, who have shown no offense, no ability to even consider offense since returning to play. Got absolutely. I mean, they played the two best teams in the Basque Country, Basque derbies back to back. Real Sociedad did nothing. Athletic Club did less than nothing. Like I don't really know even what to say. Osasuna's defense should get a little bit better in this one because they had one of their two center backs that are always in there suspended. I think they have the same last name, so good luck for me to tell them apart right now at 11:24. But I think Mallorca, they're going to go there. They're going to play a 5-4-1. They're going to be really defensive. They're going to try to get a in-swinger onto the head of Marici, who's a giant, and that's going to be a problem for Osasuna's defenders. So I really like Mallorca, and I think I like, well, I would have said the under, but it's under. We got 1 3/4 right here. Juice to the over. I mean, at +2, I do really like that push on 2. Where does 1-1 come from? I'm not sure. I would win a Mallorca bet and push an over under at 2 if it gets up there. I think 2 is the minimum for me on playing an under. So it might be a Mallorca only bet here, but I'm going to watch this one because I don't want to lose half of a goal because that's, I think, far too high. I think a goalless draw where you win half a bet on a draw at +1/4 as opposed to full bet on +1/2. It's actually a time where I won't want to move into it. And even if Marici didn't play, that would just help the under or make Mallorca more defensive, I guess. Next, I'll have Real Sociedad, a quarter goal favorite to Athletic Club Bilbao. Currently, Real Sociedad are playing awesome, incredibly. Their defense has been lights out, and I love it. Over under is 2.25 and juiced really heavily to the under. So not a lot of goals being scored here expected because Athletic Club can't score. I think they're goalless so far since the break. Something just, I mean, pretty nice when you're betting unders and people just can't score goals, and multiple teams in this league. Real Sociedad can score though, and they're getting healthier. Mikel Oyarzabal is their captain, heart and soul, the corazón of Aurora. Easy for me to say, but he's killing it, or not killing it, but he has been out for so long. His return is, I think, buoyed the side quite a bit. Crowd at the Real Arena is going to be awesome. I loved it when I was there. They almost made me deaf whistling the referees, and that's probably likely to happen here as well. But that matters, and the refs will make decisions in the home teams. That's basically the home court advantage in You don't have a basketball in this sport. You use your feet, but it's still influencing the referees, getting free kicks when you shouldn't, avoiding red cards, getting yellows to sign to the other team, and it's just a regular foul, or avoiding yellows yourself. And that's going to be a big deal. Athletic Club can't score goals, so I can't really trust them as a quarter goal underdog on the road. I feel like it's actually, they're very juiced too. I think I lean Sociedad as a favorite, which is weird. I swear, pinched myself. I'm awake, haven't been drinking. So, not much for me to do that one, unfortunately. I guess I lean under 2.25 for Athletic Club to go in there and just play defense the whole time. That's probably what they'll do. So maybe that's my lean, is under 2.25. On Sunday, we have Getafe hosting Espanyol. Currently, Getafe, a quarter goal favorite at home. All the juice in Espanyol on the road. Over under is 2 because the home team has not shown any interest in being a good team in a while. I was going to say they haven't shown interest in scoring goals. Did score a couple against Levante in the Copa del Rey. Segunda División, Levante, the second division team who knocked them out, was a road match, but still, and they did have 2 different leads that they blew. Brutal was one of the most recent losses that I've had, but it's a few days ago, so that's a nice feeling. I guess, I have to lean Espanyol getting that quarter of a goal. I don't think it's going to be around for a while, so that's one I might even jump on ASAP because I think this is going to close pick'em. Could probably find some arbitrage there as betting Getafe pick'em and taking in some Espanyol plus 1/4. Not a lot of lucrative stuff there on a draw, but I guess pushing one side, winning the other, and not having risk for that is pretty nice besides the juice involved. Over under, I don't, Getafe just don't look like they're anywhere scoring in La Liga. NS Unal was so good last season when they came back from relegation zone to finishing pretty comfortably. And Borja Mayoral, who's never really shown that he could score on any sort of level, despite as a backup for one of the big clubs. They kind of ping pong doing stuff. Espanyol, Jose Lumata has been awesome, but that's the only real avenue they have to score. Under 2 is a pretty strong lean, and lean to the under as well, the underdog, excuse me. And those 2 things are correlated, so they work pretty well. Sunday morning might be a paint try after exposition. Next, we have Almeria hosting Atletico Madrid. Currently, Almeria a 3/4 of a goal underdog, and they are. I actually just realized I didn't make a Cadiz line, which is very sad because I'm going to do that live while we're talking about it. And I'll actually walk everyone through so you can see the method behind the madness. Hopefully this doesn't knock my iPad or my laptop off. Anyway, we'll stick with Almeria and Atleti for right now. So Almeria, 3/4 goal underdog. Over under is 2.5. And Atletico Madrid just sold off or loaded off Joao Felix. That's going to hurt their offense. It's now the Antoine Griezmann show, which has not really been great for Atleti. It's been pretty lucrative, I think, for France. But I do like Alvaro Morata has been really good, I think, as a goal scorer and gets a lot of hate, which I don't think he deserves. But Atleti are going on the road as a big favorite, and I don't believe in them. They take stupid red cards, yellow cards, everything. They're too physical. They have a manager who's a nutcase on the sideline, and it sounds like he might be leaving. I hope he doesn't because I think he deserves to stay there as long as he wants. But Diego Simeone does what he does, and might be wearing the all black Johnny Cash suit somewhere else next season. Almeria, I feel like they're a newly promoted side that have looked very competent in the big league, and I feel like there's not a lot of goals that come out of them nor Atleti. So I lean to the home dog and the under. And I feel pretty good about both of those, I'll say. So now I'll make a Cadiz Elche line live. 2 of the worst teams in Spanish football. Incredible that both of these have been up for, I think, 3 seasons now. But Cadiz at home, they play a little bit better there. They should get a little bit more respect, I think, than Elche, who are maybe the worst. They've had the worst start. They are pretty much adrift right now on 4 points, I want to say, without the La Liga standings in front of me. So basically, I have a line set up where I have one is how many goals I expect to be scored and how many goals that I expect to be allowed. 2 different columns. They spit out numbers. I adjust them. So I'm adjusting Elche's team total down to like 1.25. Don't go too deep into the math in that one, but ultimately I think Cadiz are much better, more likely team to score here. I don't think that they're likely to score the 1.5 that I give for most teams as a standard. But I think that Cadiz have been playing a lot better and honestly deserve a little bit more credit, I think, than they've been getting. Haven't seen the line yet, as we're going to get there in a second. But I projected a total at 2.07, which is pretty low. But in this sport or in this league, as we've seen with a 1.75 already out there, that might be possible. And I just don't know that Elche are going to get more than a half of a goal, which would be a full bet winner if they draw on the road. Maybe they will. I'll make it, since they've been so bad. I'll make Elche a 3/4 goal underdog, and I'll make the over under 2.07. So let's see. Elche half of a goal, so I should have stuck with that. Over under is 2.25, very juicy under. So that's pretty close to my outlay or whatever I came up with. Computer's been working, files are in the computer, and I'm not backing Elche. I do like under there, though, because I don't think either of these teams are likely to score. Cadiz are used to just conceding the ball. They probably won't do that here, which is going to be weird for them, and could give Elche a little bit of a chance to get a road win, though I don't know why you'd expect them to do so. Lean under there. And I think for my best bet for La Liga, well, actually, I got to go through the Copa del Rey, or excuse me, the Super Copa. Hopefully we have a line for that one. Let's see. We do not. Wow. How do we not have a line for, of all matches? Come on, bet online. I know I just plugged you earlier. Well, probably wasn't going to do it because it's probably going to be Pick'em. I'll guess Barcelona slightly favored and over under at like 2.75. That'll be my guess on the total and side there. You guys can do what you want with that one. But I'm going to take Mallorca getting half of a goal as my best bet for Spain. I don't think that number is going to be around for a while, so we might want to jump on this like literally mid podcast. Won't do that to the people, but I might suggest it or right after I hang up. Now moving to Serie A, we had Coppa Italia midweek in Italy. I don't know necessarily, since we're one man banding. This is pretty long. I'm going to take a sip of water. And we start with Napoli hosting Juventus. Currently, Napoli a half a goal favorite. Over under is 2.25. All right, water is sipped. So Napoli, they were awesome entering into the break. Haven't had that easy of a time since coming back, but have been picking up points. Juve, on the other hand, are playing like the team that we all expect them to be, especially the one under Massimo Allegri, where they go up 1-0 and then they step on the neck and really just shut the game down, do all the Italian roll on the floor things, take the penalties, or excuse me, take the fouls and just lay on the carpet on the floor and waste of time. I don't know that's going to work so well against Napoli, though. If they did take that 1-0 lead, it'd be huge, especially as a half a goal underdog. Napoli, the stadium's going to be nuts. Napoli are very scary at home, but Juve have been crushing it. They've been fighting through very injured back lines and playing players they didn't really need or want to play. They needed to play them, but they didn't want to. I'm kind of interested. I feel like I was expecting this one to be a little bit shorter. Juve getting a half of a goal doesn't happen very often in this league. They won 9 straight Scudettos as of a few seasons ago until Inter knocked them off, and it's been a rough kind of run getting back in there. But it's hard to be interested in Juve and also the under, because I feel like while they're correlated and they might both win, I do feel like if Napoli win this match, it probably goes over, and they obviously would cover the spread. So maybe to be a little bit more cognizant and careful for a Friday match is to not start the week. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're off to a good start this year. I'm just trying to keep that going. But I guess I do lean to the match, and the outcome that I see is Juve keeping this really tight, potentially taking a lead and then shutting the shop and trying their best to scrape out of there and escape Napoli with a 1-1 or a 1-0 victory if they could really do it. Napoli get that first goal and Juve have to extend or start pressuring more than they want to. That's a scary spot, and Napoli can make it worse. But honestly, I think Napoli have had enough trouble so far, and I feel like that incredible run unbeaten into the break, that really doesn't mean a lot anymore. And I feel like if you started the season, this would have been Napoli minus a quarter or probably pick them before Napoli started off the year so well. I'm not sure they're the same team right now. So I lean to Juve getting that half of a goal and under 2.25. Moving to Saturday, Cremonese hosts Monza. Cremonese have been a little bit unlucky, but ultimately that's what happens when you don't score goals in soccer. It's hard to do anything, get points, win, do things like that. Monza have been awesome. I mean, what a great return to play. I think 2 draws from being behind against 2 big clubs. Markets like them. I feel like Monza with all the juice right now at Pick'em, I think makes sense. Over under is 2.25. And honestly, I feel like Monza can score enough that this doesn't really make me want to play under. I think Cremonese feel like they need to get points here and win here. They're probably one of the bottom 2, I think, without looking. That's not great because you want the team at home that's likely to have a good goal scoring outcome, way better than expected. You'd want them to play defensively, I think, and then try to use that crowd to score if you're playing under. I think Monza they've shown they can score goals against good teams. Cremonese are not one of them. Lecce then hosts AC Milan. Currently, Lecce 3/4 goal underdog. Wow, that's way higher than I expected. I don't have that in front of me, but I can pull that up. I thought a half, and that was probably stretching it as well. All the juice too on AC Milan. So is Lecce missing everybody? That's one I need to look at because they were getting a lot of love in their Lazio opener coming back from the break. I'm not really sure how to explain that one. But over-under is 2.5. Milan, they do really well against inferior teams, but Lecce have been really competitive this whole season. So I don't really necessarily see this one being too difficult for them. It will be a difficult match. AC Milan are great. Defending champions, have the Scudetto in their whatever trophy room right now. But AC Milan have not looked exactly the same. There's a lot of rumors about Rafael Leao potentially moving. I think they're going to try to wait till after the season, but you never know. If he's not producing, then it's Olivier Giroud and Brahim Diaz right now. There's a lot of great players certainly for AC Milan, but also I think Sandro Tonali is suspended. So this one seems really high to me. And certainly if Lecce moves that +1 number, I'll be very and much more interested. I also don't think there are a ton of goals here, but I feel less interest about the total. I feel like the defense in Italy is a lot worse than you'd expect from a team or from a league, that country that was so defense oriented for so long. Inter Milan then hosts Verona. Currently Inter, a 1.5 goal favorite, had to sweat through extra time with Parma from Serie B. Not a great sign. Haven't had a great year. Let Monza off the hook with a late goal off a set piece. Really, really bad all around. Verona finally getting a win against Cremonese, but they're not good. And they don't really have a way to score. They don't defend very well. If Inter can't win this matchup, I don't know what to say about them. And I feel like their chances at Champions League look really, really scary, and might be time to go get Thomas Tuchel. I don't know if that's even realistic, but just not have Simone Inzaghi anymore. Over-under is 3. I guess I lean under if anything, but I don't really know if I feel like Verona can even be competitive here. Moving to Sunday, Sassuolo hosts Lazio. Currently Sassuolo a 1/4 goal underdog at home. Over-under is 2 3/4. And Sassuolo are not a team I want to back right now. They're a team in flux, team in transition. They sell off too many pieces. They keep Domenico Berardi, but he doesn't do enough. Their defense is bad. And Lazio, I'm expecting them to break out. They've played so well in the first half, but really lost that momentum. We'll see where it comes from. Next with Torino, a 3/4 goal favorite right now with all the juice to Spezia, who've been playing so well. Where does this line come from? Especially because Torino had Coppa Italia midweek. Over-under is 2.5. And Spezia have been playing awesome. I got to say, I forgot that, I guess, in the month of distraction of the World Cup and maybe a million other sports I bet and podcasts I do. But Spezia have been playing really well. Luca Galti, their manager, has someone I really liked at Udinese and got fired. I don't think he deserved it. But he's turned this team, and they've been playing really well. They have, I think it's Yamzi or Nzozi, who's scoring 1 million goals. And that's what you need when you're trying to be a defensive team with 1 goal scorer. And he's doing it. And Torino, their goal scoring, I never really trust. It's hard to say anything more than that. So Spezia plus 3/4 of a goal, potentially trending towards +1. That would be a really nice goal of insurance to have. Udinese then hosts Bologna, 1/2 a goal favorite. Over-under is 2.5. Bologna, really snake bitten. Sorry if their manager passed away, and they have not really recovered from that. It wasn't going great with him either, and he was relieved of his duties before. Just sad scenario all around. And I wonder if that's a part of the reason why things have gone so poorly. They took a lead in the last match, surrendered that. Udinese are a good team that I think really suffered and gave up a tough goal late to Juve, but deserved everything from shutting them down the whole time. I think they can shut Bologna down. So I guess under 2.5, if anything, in that one. Atalanta and Salernitana, currently Atalanta at 1.25 goal favorite. Okay. Thank you, Apple Watch. Atalanta, 1.25 goal favorite. They are, with all the juice, so potentially climbing to 1.5. Over-under is 3, which is pretty steep because this is not the same Atalanta offense. They came back from behind and I think got a win in their last match. But Salernitana, they can score. They also can concede, to say the least. I think if I'm most interested in Salernitana plus 1.25. I feel like this could see goals, which unfortunately doesn't correlate very well to the underdog. If the under is not something I like. I do like the full push on 3, but this number could get there. And I don't know. 3 is a really high total in these type of things. That doesn't bode well for Salernitana's defense. So I lean that way, but I don't know that I'm going to ever move that closer to clicking the submit button on a wager. Roma then hosts Fiorentina, a half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Fiorentina on the road. Over under is 2.5. Also very juicy under. Roma went into the break scoring goals and not defending. I don't really know what Jose Mourinho is doing. I don't think he's changed his spots because leopards, cheetahs don't do that. Fiorentina's goal scoring is a big question to me. I think getting a big winner off of a penalty kick from Nico Gonzalez at the end, at the death, was huge for them confidence-wise. But I don't really trust them. Sofiane Amrabat, who knows what's left in those legs after how well he played and how much he played for Morocco at the World Cup. Lean to Fiorentina getting a half of a goal, and I guess to under, but there's a lot of questions about both these teams and where they're going. All those things might just be one to watch. Should be a pretty entertaining match, to say the least, as both these teams are fighting for Europe. And on Monday, we have Empoli hosting Sampdoria. Currently, Empoli a quarter goal favorite. Over under is 2.25. Empoli, they're bouncing back, looking a little bit better. They were looking dead, but Sampdoria were looking dead-er, if that's even a word, phrase, whatever. But Samp has been pretty good since coming back from the break. They really needed it. We'll see if they can keep it going. Obviously, as an underdog and under player, I like Sampdoria as the underdog here. Empoli are not a strong favorite, but Sampdoria only getting a quarter of a goal. I'm still waiting for them to return to what they were before the break occurred. So I'm going to go with my best bet from Italy. I mean, Juve, Lecce are all up there, as well as Spezia. I'm going to go Spezia plus 3/4. I don't know necessarily that that'll be something that I'm certainly waiting for that +1 to hit, but I don't necessarily see it just yet. So we'll wait on that one. And now we move to Ligue 1. Hopefully we have lines for this one. Completely missed midweek matches, but honestly, that prepares me, so I'm not going to get any opinions skewed from watching and seeing a really bad performance or something like that and having that be a huge problem. So we'll see what happens and how these numbers move as I set up another device for a camera. Let's see if I can do this live on podcast without throwing everything off. Anyway, okay, I think that worked. Do that for the best bets portion of the show. All right, so Lens hosts Angers. Currently, Lens a 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice right now. I don't know that I necessarily believe that Angers are staying in this league. There are 4 teams going down in France. It's really tough for any newly promoted. I think from where I sit, Lens are a really scary team to go against because they are an awesome they have an awesome strategy and they want to play aggressively, and that's really what you want to do as a favorite. Over under is 2.75. I don't really know that Angers, I've been interested in them in that one. These are Saturday matches, by the way. Marseille then hosts Lorient. Currently, Marseille a 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice, or almost all of it. Over under is 3. Lorient have not been playing the same way they were. Marseille are really scary at home. I do like Lorient's setup with their counterattacking style. But hanging around with Marseille is a big ask, and I'm a little worried about Terra Murphy being sold. I don't really know what to expect from that, and that's really hard to make a bet that way. But lean to Lorient. I think plus 1.25 more so than the under, and you likely just need them to score, and they might be able to only give up 2 and win you half a bet. Lyon then hosts Strasbourg. Currently, Lyon a 1 goal favorite. All the juice on Strasbourg on the road. I don't know where that comes from. Strasbourg getting too much respect, considering they haven't scored enough goals all season, and their defense is definitely not great. Over under is 2.75. Lyon can match that and do that themselves. I think I lean favorite and over in that one, if anything. Moving to Sunday, Lille hosts Estac. Currently, Lille a 1.25 goal favorite. Over under is 2.75. Lille have been the surprise of the season, I think, besides Lorient and where they sit in the table. So I guess that's not true. But Lille have been up there. They've been playing very well. Troyes their defense has not been great. They outscored Strasbourg in their match the last time. Impressive. Last one that I watched anyway. And I don't know that I really trust their defense, though. It looked pretty bad against Strasbourg, and I don't like that matchup against Lille, though Lille's offense is a little bit less potent, and I think it at least it's done better than I would expect it to continue at that level. So maybe I have some interest in Troyes getting more than that goal. But I need to think about it and probably watch a bunch of French matches before I even consider these things. Toulouse and Brest, currently Toulouse a half a goal favorite, over under 2 3/4. Toulouse want to go out there and score. Brest, their defense, that's kind of what they're known for. It's a good battle for those. I don't think Brest can score with Toulouse. And it really depends on if you think that Toulouse, the Ligue 2 champions of last season that started off the year so well and then really fell apart and needed the break. See if they come around and turn it around and get back to what they were. Though they got smashed at Marseille in the opener, and that's not a good start. Montpellier host Nantes, currently a pick'em. Slightly more juice on Montpellier at home. That's a team I want to bet against. I just don't trust them. They haven't been able to do anything of note for years. I think they're a potential relegation candidate despite having a lot of history. And look at Bordeaux. They're already in this Ligue 2 anyway. Over unders 2.5 in this one, which feels pretty high for a Nantes game, but also low for Montpellier. So I'm not sure that I lean a certain way on either of those. Angers then hosts Clermont Foot. Currently, Angers a quarter goal favorite. They continue to be favorites at a level where a draw will lose them money. I don't get that. The market does like Angers, and I'm trying to pay attention a little bit more to what the market says, but I don't agree with it. And Clermont Foot, I mean, they have not been liked, so maybe that's a combo. Market likes Angers, doesn't like Clermont. And Clermont have done fairly well, I think, as a team that's not sure they're going to stay in the league, but we'll end up seeing. Over under is 2.5. I don't know where goals come from in this one. I think I like the Clermont Foot side more. I like the total, but underdog and under sound good to me there. Stade de Reims then hosts Nice. Currently, Reims a pick'em with all the juice right now at home. Nice, I think, let Lucien Favre go, and probably needed to happen. I don't know. Game's past him. He's not a good manager. The over-under is 2.25, which seems really low for a Nice match, I got to say. I feel like I like Nice. I'm not a huge believer in the new manager bounce, but I think they can bounce. They're better than I think a lot of people think, and they have the talent to do it. Now, can they harness that? And we'll see what happens. A quick turnaround with a new manager, but Reims is a favorite. It seems a little weird to me, though. They were a great team to me last season. I guess I don't know. Total seems a little bit low for a Nice team, but maybe they're going to go really defensive. I really need to see what lineups look like, who their new manager is, all that sort of stuff before I jump into this one wholeheartedly. But I guess with Reims, it's really hard to see goals in their matches, and they're usually really good defensively. Monaco then hosts Ajaccio. Currently, Monaco a 1.25 goal favorite at home. Over unders 2 3/4. Ajaccio aren't probably expected to score here. Over unders for the team total is 1.5. I'll probably take. I don't know. It's hard to say because Monaco may name their price and then ultimately concede one late. That certainly points me towards an over 2 3/4. Monaco at home, it's not a huge home court advantage, home field advantage, home pitch advantage, but they do score a lot of goals there, and that's something I think we need to listen to, or at least I need to listen to. So I don't know that I'm getting too involved there. And then Rennes hosts PSG at Rennes, a 1-goal underdog. Unfortunately, dealing with the loss of Martin Terrier, and that's a huge problem for their offense, and really makes me very concerned with my finishing the European position wager, though I think that they're in the Champions League race, and that certainly gives me a little bit more space to finish top 5. But they have PSG here, who knows what's been going on with Mbappe, Messi, how that locker room is gone. Neymar should be back from suspension, so that's good. Hopefully he's not taking second yellows diving, but if you're back in Rennes, and I certainly am because of my future in this one, I'm looking forward to that, hoping to happen again. PSG is really about motivation because I think they're the second best team in the world and pretty close to Manchester City. But certainly Man City, it gets a lot more tests than PSG do, and that's a big problem. Over under in this one is 3. I think there could be a lot of goals in this match, but also I feel like most teams when they play PSG get very defensive. I'm not sure that Rennes have really done that to that level though. So I'll lean to Rennes as a +1 home dog, but I'm not unbiased, or I'm not impartial because I do have a rooting interest in Rennes. I'll be looking at the lineups to see what they all look like. I imagine PSG will climb from +1 or from a 1-goal favorite, which is a lot on the road, a lot of safety in that full goal of insurance at home. Don't know if I could ever really play an under with PSG though, because they can score so many goals so quickly. And Kylian Mbappe is still the most terrifying person in this sport. So for my best bet for France, I think it's got to be Clermont Foot getting a quarter of a goal. And so I'm going to now sum up the best bets from each of the countries. I'll read right now, though, before we get there. I got a promo code for pregame. Thank you for all the support on there as well. But also, I'll read right now a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This is from Mike Totola. Follow G Warner on Twitter, and something, unfortunately, I can't see a way to make this get even bigger. Maybe I can. Looks like it got cut off or something. Anyway, follow G Warner on Twitter and for something. G Warner has been money betting the World Cup 2022. Stay hot. Thank you for that. Also been real hot with the club stuff. This is obviously for a little while ago. Clearly, I didn't sort these right. But thank you, Mike. Appreciate the support. Certainly trying to stay hot as possible. Especially these cold winter months. You gotta keep the lights on, keep the energy up, and honestly keep waking up early for these matches, because unfortunately, as you can see in my eyes, it's impossible to get good rest. As for the promo code, which some of you might be sticking around for, I'm trying to get my soccer bets out each night, which essentially lists my whole card that's coming out the next day, and that way everyone knows what's happening. It is before lineups come out, so that's a little bit more difficult, because unfortunately there are some big changes that come out, and lineups are only really available an hour before a game. But I realize it's tough for a lot of people to follow along, so it's kind of a catch-22. But use promo code CARD20, 20% off for all purchases on pregame.com, whether my picks, which you can get. I think like a year-long subscription now is available, new hot off the presses. You get college basketball, NFL, baseball that's coming up, as well as soccer. So if you want to get in and really ride the experience, I'm putting the work in, and you can join me along the way. Of course, plenty of other good pregame.com handicappers there. Use the promo code CARD, like a yellow card or a red card. Hopefully no red cards on my teams this weekend, but CARD20, get 20% off at pregame. So now it's time. We're going to go. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Oh my God, that's not what I wanted at all. Okay, let's see. I don't want a time lapse. Let's get to the video section. I think I'm going to post this on Instagram. See if I can get some people looking at my features there. This is not the good angle, but whatever. Maybe it makes me look thin. I'm not sure. So it's time to go through our best bets. So from the English Premier League, best bet is Wolves under 2.25. Don't see a lot of goals from Wolves nor West Ham. From Spain, I have Mallorca plus a half of a goal at Osasuna. That line made me spit out the water I wasn't drinking, or had been drinking before. Not drinking alcohol, just water as we're recording. From Italy, I like Spezia getting 3/4 of a goal. Looking forward that hitting +1. And then lastly, Clermont Foot from France in Liga, as I just don't think Angers should be a favorite to really anybody right now, whether it's another relegation candidate or not. For my ultimate best bet on this podcast, betting the pitch number 158. Follow me on the real_G Warner on Twitter. I'm going to give you Mallorca plus 1/2 of a goal at Osasuna. Tough place to play, certainly, but Mallorca are going to go in there. I think they're going to shut up shop completely. And Verdad Marici, assuming he's playing, he's going to be really tough to stop. And so there we go. That is my best bet. If I could ever turn this thing on, Jesus Christ. Anyway, hopefully that just shut off. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you're on Twitter, please smash the follow button, the real_G Warner. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I will read the next one that I have on my next podcast, which will hopefully come sooner rather than later. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate you putting me on that big screen in front of all your family, especially if it's at like lunchtime or dinner time when everyone's around, gathering around, hearing who we're going to bet on in a random European soccer match. Anyway, we're almost an hour in. I need to go to sleep, but tweet me, beat me, slide in the DMs, do whatever you need. The real_G Warner, and I will try to reply to everything I get. It's tough at times, but I appreciate the support, and we will see everybody real soon. Thank you so much. We'll see each other soon.